greatest of all time, Pro Football Hall of Famer Jim Brown. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Good to be here.
It's glad to have you here. So I guess first off, what did you think of the picks that the Browns made last night? Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward, Jim?
Well, I'm a loyal person, and I was looking at, of course, getting the great running back. And then we had 4 or 5 different quarterbacks, but our experts saw it a little differently.
Yes.
And I go along with them. So I think when you deal with a defensive back that has the speed and the quickness, and you deal with a quarterback that had those kind of statistics, then we can't really go wrong.
So have you any thoughts, I guess, on whether the Browns organization has changed based on John Dorsey's arrival here, Jim?
No doubt about it. You met him, right?
I have met him.
All right, then you know we're going to be changing for the better. He's very positive, a lot of energy. He relates to me. So what can I say about him except that he brings that kind of energy and that kind of intelligence, and he's a little different.
Yeah, and the pick that he made last night definitely surprised a lot of people because Mayfield, despite his exploits and positive results collegiately, Jim, doesn't have the height. Do you have any thoughts on whether height at the quarterback position is something that should be discarded or counted upon?
Well, in general, you would want to have a guy about 250, 7 feet tall, so forth and so on.
Sure.
So, of course, we like that kind of figure. But the genius of all of this is that those people that make the decisions, they really go out and they see the things that a guy possesses, and they don't want the norm, they want the exception. So the exception is always going to be strange. Eddie LeBaron that played for Washington in the old days wasn't even 6 feet. Now, if I had my choice of having a big guy, a small guy, I'd take the big guy.
Jim Brown, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what do you say to people who think that the Browns organization just won't get it right? They can't get it right, that the Browns are going to Browns. How do you respond to something like that, Jim?
Well, actually, I don't worry about other people because I have a brain of my own, and I can see very well with my eyes. I'm 2015, not 2020.
Right.
So I rely upon the things that I see and the things that I analyze. So when I gave you that really synopsis of what I thought, that was really me talking. The Browns have had bad luck by their own fault over many years. So the general public has a right to demand that they understand what is going on today. But I think that the organization now, with the owner and with the coach that we have, and with the clarity that we have, we're starting a new era, and I think it's going to be very positive.
A few more minutes left here with Jim Brown, who's been kind enough to stop by as we close up our show here from Dallas. What do you, if you mind me asking, you had a meeting with the commissioner today. What are the topics of discussion that you have with Roger Goodell?
Oh, well, there were a lot of topics. The topics that I really addressed to him is dealing with those individuals that can make the decision for themselves, but the league now is trying to more or less monitor them. For example, I'm saying that players, you can legislate situations, and you can talk about the helmet, butt, and all those things, but ultimately football is football, and you're going to have to make decisions based upon your quickness and what you think you see. So they were covering it in a sense that we all had an opinion. I was trying to deal with the kneeling rule. I didn't get an answer, but I think that we do the fans an injustice when we don't stand up for the national anthem or for the flag. I've been totally against that. But we had an opportunity to talk about it, and I think that's the main thing, the communication.
So, but do you understand, in a couple more minutes left here with Jim Brown, that you, late 60s, 70s, with Muhammad Ali and Bill Russell, okay, what you stood for in terms of social consciousness for players and peaceful protest, for you to say that there shouldn't be any kneeling, that folks kind of don't understand where that would be coming from you.
Well, you
Brown.
want me to explain it?
Please.
Quickly. We as superstars during the day, we had our secret meeting. We had our private meeting. We had our discussions. We came out of those discussions knowing exactly what our goals were. Okay? That's the way that we approached it. And so the difference is that today the situation is you have one guy taking a knee. The other players on his team are not taking a knee. When we were united, we came out with our point. We're all together. So the big difference is if you got a gripe, work it out with your teammates and your organization, and then take it public. Don't have every guy out there with an individual position. That's never. You're never going to solve it.
Do you think Kaepernick should have a job in the NFL, Jim?
Well, that's the way you put it. I think that everybody should have a job that qualifies, but I think that there is a thing called entrepreneurship and ownership and investing in your business. And I tell you what I really think. I think that every player should understand how privileged he is to be able to have a voice and notoriety and to make all that kind of money. So if you're a player and you have that kind of situation, you should organize your other players, and then you all come out as a unit. Now, to directly say that this young man should be a quarterback, everyone should have an opportunity that has the ability. His ability is questioned to a certain degree. But if I was the general manager, I would not want to take him on because I would not know what he's going to do. And I would always want to know what my players are going to do, and they would come to me first, and we would discuss it. My problem with him is that he has a right to express himself, but he should not put himself out there as a one. That doesn't work.
I have 1 minute left before the show ends, and the radio network ends the show. What do you think LeBron's going to do in a couple months, Jim?
Almost anything he wants to. He's a great, great player. I think he might opt for Los Angeles.
You did that once upon a time. Didn't you leave Cleveland for Los Angeles once for a movie career?
Well,
back in the day?
After my football career, I knew I had to be in Los Angeles. Couldn't be in New York. If I was going into business, I'd go to New York.
Instead, you went to the movies.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're going to be part of the draft tonight. Always appreciate when you take time to be on this show in person or on the phone all the way throughout the years of the NFL Network and here. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's one reason. Respect.
Thank you, Jim. That means a lot.
Thank you.
That means a ton to me. Jim Brown here.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.